Welcome back, everyone, and God bless you for joining today's study. In this teaching, we're going to look at a powerful reminder from the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 7, a passage that brings everything into focus with one simple truth. The time is short. Paul isn't discouraging life, marriage, or responsibility. He's redirecting our attention. In the middle of everyday life, relationships, emotions, and possessions, he calls believers to see things from a higher perspective. So as we go through this passage together, ask yourself, am I living like this world is permanent? Or am I living like the time is truly short? Let's dig in and see what the Spirit says through Paul. Paul has already dealt with the Corinthian believers' question about the husband and wife relationships among believers and believer and non-believer, circumcision and uncircumcision, and slave and freeman, essentially calling for the believer to remain in the relationship or conditions in which they believed. He has concluded in all of these, wherein one was called, there they should abide. Now, Paul continues in a similar fashion as he makes conclusions on all of these discussions, with the provision that the time is short. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment, as one that hath obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress, I say, that it is good for a man so to be. Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth, that both they that have wives be as though they had none. And they that weep, as though they wept not, and they that rejoice, as though they rejoiced not, and they that buy, as though they possessed not, and they that use this world, as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. 1 Corinthians 7 verses 25 to 31. Let's dig into this. Paul addresses virgins as well as a man, saying, Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife. But, and if thou marry, thou hast not sinned, and if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. So, to the Corinthians' questions to him, Paul concludes that there is nothing wrong with entering into marriage, but likewise there is nothing wrong with choosing celibacy. However, he quickly follows up with nevertheless. And the nevertheless is one that has guided his own decisions about marriage, as he notes, nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you. And this goes back to his earlier discussions regarding the believer's focus. For if married, the focus for a good amount of time is going to be on each other, and rightly so. But Paul's choice and example have been to devote that time to Christ instead. To this point, he notes, But this I say, brethren, the time is short, it remaineth, that both they that have wives be as though they had none. Since the time is short, even if married, he instructs to live for Christ, devoting more time therein. And further, but this I say, the time is short. They that weep, as though they wept not, and they that rejoice, as though they rejoiced not. Since the time is short, even time spent weeping or rejoicing should instead be devoted to living for Christ. And finally, but this I say, the time is short. They that buy as though they possessed not, and they that use this world as not abusing it. Since time is short, attention given to possessions and world living should not be abused by devoting time overmuch to same. Paul then concludes that given the time is short, believers should keep in mind that in time the fashion of this world passeth away. And this is certainly true in the life of the believer, for we live only a short time on this earth. But this also goes beyond the individual believer to address this dispensation of the grace of God in which the believer lives and the relative shortness thereof. Believer, the time is short, therefore use your time for the Lord. Thank you for watching and studying with us today. Remember, Paul's words are not meant to take life away from you. They are meant to sharpen your focus for it. The time is short. The world is passing. But Christ's purpose in you is eternal. So, wherever you are today, in joy, in struggle, in responsibility, or in waiting, live with that eternal perspective. Hold things loosely, serve Christ faithfully, and use the time you have for what truly matters. If this study blessed you, feel free to like, share, and continue searching the scriptures for yourself. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next study.